Yeah, that's really odd. Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome. Hey Juan and Ali, how's it going, guys?
Hi, how are you?
Good, good. How's everyone doing this morning or morning here?
For me,
Everyone's
I feel
good?
for me, I feel good.
Everything's good. Fantastic,
You
fantastic.
you you are now in the morning. Where do you live?
I am in California actually.
Alright,
Yeah, so it's 8 o'clock in the morning here, bright and
in
early.
the morning.
Yeah.
Alright.
What about you, Ali? Where?
Which day is it today in your country? In
Tuesday. Tuesday.
Tuesday.
Yeah, yeah.
Alright.
What
We
about?
are we are in the late night. Moving to the Wednesday in Australia.
Oh, in Australia. Wow. Welcome, welcome. Yeah, Australia is a great country, very far. I mean, not too far from here, but just crossing the Pacific Ocean, I can reach Australia. So
Yeah.
maybe 15 hours flight, 16-hour flight. Fantastic. Well, welcome, Ali.
Uh,
Uh, Juan, bienvenido. How are you?
Hello, hello.
Good to see you again. Yes, I am enjoying the sunshine, Juan. It's beautiful. The weather is gorgeous
Yeah.
here. So it's a little bit colder in the mornings, but after a while it gets really good. Uh, Christoph, how's it going? It's been a long time.
Yeah, I was busy in this time.
Fantastic. How's life in Poland?
Quite good.
Quite good.
Yeah, you
There's no
can.
complaints.
Yeah, you cannot complain.
Great, fantastic. And Salvador, how's it going, man?
Hi, hello, how are you?
Good, good. Good to see you again.
Thank you.
Yeah. So welcome, guys. Just wanted to get started. We're going to wait a little bit longer, maybe a couple more minutes. Just wanted to introduce the class and say hello to everyone. I think Ali, this is your first time in my class, if I'm not mistaken.
yes, this is my first time here.
Awesome, awesome, fantastic. Welcome. So yeah, we have people from all over the world. My first Australian student, Ali, which is great.
Actually, I'm not an Australian, but I live in Australia.
Where are you from originally, if you don't mind me asking?
Originally, I'm from Saudi Arabia.
Oh, Saudi Arabia, fantastic. We have a lot of Saudi students here on Colingo.
Alright, good,
Yeah,
good to know
I was
that.
I was actually born in Najran, so I was born in your country.
Oh,
Yeah,
Najran, yeah, this is
Najran. Yeah,
sounds familiar to me, Najran.
yeah. It's southern Saudi Arabia. Nothing there, but it's not a big city, but whatever. It's a nice place. Yeah, fantastic. And Eugenie, how's it going? Welcome.
Hi, teacher. Nice to see you. Hi, guys.
Nice to see you as well. We have a big full class today, guys. I'm thinking I should take this class outside so you guys can see the California sunshine. You guys want to do that?
Yeah.
Yeah, let's see
Maybe
the California sunshine. Uh-huh.
because the name of the class is interesting, maybe.
Depression equals disability. Maybe, yeah, right? Hopefully it's not something that's a trend, right? We don't want to see too many people depressed. Let me take this class outside, guys. I wanted to my first morning class, it's too light, or it's too dark outside. So I want to show you guys California a little bit. Let's take the first couple minutes. Come on a tour. Come on a walk with me, okay? Yo, Harlan, I'll see you later, man. Peace out. Alright, so let's take this class outside. You guys can see what's going on. Yesterday I forgot to close this door. Yeah, no, I'm not good. Alright, one sec, guys, one sec. Alright, so you guys want to see California? Here it is.
I can see the Golden Gate from there? No.
No, Golden Gate's a little bit far away, but you should be able to see the trees and the early morning sunshine.
Some coconuts in the palms.
Yeah, right. You got some palm trees. You got some. It's a pretty nice place right now. It's still relatively early in the morning, so it's kind of cold.
What time was it now?
8 o'clock in the morning. So, I think exactly 12 hours from Russia.
Yes.
And then yeah, beautiful. Today it's kind of cloudy actually, guys. If you guys can see the mountain, right? The mountain has a lot of cloud today. So interesting. Let me actually just take this class outside today. I feel if the internet gets bad, then I'll move inside. But otherwise, I'll just take this class outside. So, sweet guys, welcome to class once again, right? If the internet gets bad, tell me. I'll go back inside. But I like to enjoy the weather as well. So, say what?
Seems fine. That's it should be alright.
Yes, okay.
Yeah, absolutely, great. So today, guys, it's actually great that we have a bigger class because the topic we are going to be looking at is an advanced topic. So we'll be looking at, polite questions, right? How do we make polite questions in English? How do we form polite questions in English? And it requires a little bit of additional understanding. Wow, we got tons of people in this class today. 7 people so far. Let's welcome. Hey, Mohammed, how's it going?
Fine. How are you today?
I'm doing well.
I saw that you are doing this live. Even you are showing us the city. So I said, okay, I have to join.
Of course, right? I think that brings the students. It brings the students. Yeah, absolutely.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because we've never been to California, so this is why I have to
you have to come. You have to come.
How
You have
it
to
looks
come.
like,
Yeah, it's beautiful. Not a lot going on here, but it's beautiful.
Yeah.
But welcome back again.
I
Ahlan wa
see.
sahlan again, Muhammad. Welcome. Good to see you.
يسلمك.
Juvenal or Juvenal, how's it going? I don't know how to pronounce your name. I'm sorry. I can't hear you, man. Sorry, it's something wrong with the sound, maybe.
Maybe he put on mute.
Yeah. Can you speak again? I'm sorry, I can't. Yeah, maybe the mic is a little iffy, man. Sorry about that. I don't know about that mic. Sorry about this truck, guys. Big truck. Wow. It's loud. All right, guys. So once the truck leaves, Juvenal, can you still hear us? You can hear us, but we can't hear him, right, guys? Can any of you guys hear him?
No, I
No,
can't
we
bring
can
up.
hear you.
Yeah.
We can hear you, but we cannot hear him.
Yeah. We'll come back, man. See if you can fix your connection, man. We'll come back to you, okay, in a little bit. We're just going to be doing a quick introduction. Once we get to you, man, feel free to introduce yourselves. So anyway, guys, welcome. I hope you guys are enjoying the nice weather. Fantastic here with me. today, since we have a lot of people, we're going to be looking at polite questions. And because this is an advanced class, we're not going to be focusing so much on the grammar. We're going to be focusing more on the conversation, right? So looking at this situation in a little bit more introductory way, right? How do we make polite questions? So I always like to think about scenarios, right? Put yourself in a scenario. Put yourself in the shoes of somebody else, right? And once you do that, I think you'll be able to figure out what kinds of, what are the different ways that you can make questions politely in English, right? So to start off, guys, I wanted to ask you guys, the first thing would be, let's imagine that you find someone who's feeling depressed, right? You find someone who's feeling depressed. Today, our class is going to be about depression, right? How depression is actually a very debilitating condition, right? It's a very difficult condition for a lot of people, right? So let's say you find someone who doesn't seem very happy. He seems depressed. How do you ask them politely about their condition, about their situation, right? You need to be sensitive because you don't want to say something that will be rude, right? So let's start with Ali on the left. We'll go from left to right, guys. Ali, what would you do? How would you ask somebody politely if they were depressed or if they were feeling okay?
Normally, I would ask, "What's wrong with you?" But politely, I would say, how do you feel? Or
Yeah.
especially
How
if
do you?
someone is really close to me, I would rather try to engage him. But I'm not sure how it is hard situation to imagine. Okay.
Exactly. How that situation emerged and how that person is feeling right now. So that's a good way to think about it. Absolutely, right? What about you, Eugenie? How would you ask somebody who might be depressed?
Maybe how can I help you? May I can do
Yeah,
something for you.
yeah. How can I help you? How can I do something for you, right? That's a great way. And you're using can, which is a verb that we use very often when we're making polite questions. So that's great. We're going to look at that a little bit more. How can I help you? Juan, what about you?
Can you say, do you feel okay?
Well, do you want to use did or do you want to use do? Do you want to use past tense or present tense?
Past tense, in order to make it more polite.
Yeah. So you can say, did you? Okay. So I see what you're saying, Juan. Right? When we use the past tense, when we use did, we use it more when we are in a scenario of serving somebody, right?
Okay. In
So
this
it's
case, it doesn't apply.
yeah. This is a little bit different, right? So in this
Okay.
example, it's actually better to use the do, use the present tense, right?
Okay.
So do you feel okay? Something like that would be a nice way to ask. Juvenal, can you hear us now? Or can we hear you, I guess?
Yeah, maybe I have some problems with my microphone. Can you hear me now?
Yes, fantastic. I can hear you now. First of all, how do I pronounce your name, man? Juvenal or Juvenal?
Juvenal. Well, in English it's Juvenal, but normally it's Juvenal Gonzalez. That's my
Juvenal Gonzalez. Okay,
yeah.
awesome. Juvenal, whichever way you prefer. I can call you Juvenal if you mind. I speak Spanish, so.
Yeah.
Yeah, welcome. So, where are you from, Juvenal?
I'm from Mexico City.
Mexico City. El DF, right? Welcome.
Yeah. From Mexico.
Good to see you. So, how would you make a question to ask somebody about their condition, Juvenal?
Well, I just asked, I look, you look little sad, or how can I help you, or something like the corner say.
Yeah, are you feeling sad? How can I help you, right? So that same idea that we heard from Eugenie, that we heard from the other folks, right? Good way to really get an understanding of how people are feeling, right? Absolutely. Christoph, what about you? What would you say?
If I met somebody who is upset, I would say something like that. Excuse me, is it everything okay? Can I help you?
Yeah, absolutely. I think a great way to start is using excuse me, right, when we're making a polite statement, and then using something very general. Is everything okay? Is everything all right? Those are two great ways to just figure out what is going on with somebody, right? Fantastic. And let's see, Mohammed, what would you say?
Yeah, for me, I say excuse me. Then I start to get close to him. I mean to be friend with him
Uh-huh.
a little bit. Then after that, I ask him. I said, okay, I saw you sad. You look sad today. So what's happening and so on. So like this.
Yeah, you look
Then he,
sad today.
yeah,
What's happening?
yeah, yeah. Then he will accept it from me. Then he
Exactly.
started there. Yeah,
It's really good because you're not being confrontational, right? If you're confrontational, if you're immediately saying, "Why are you
yeah,
sad?" right?
yeah.
Person,
The reaction he will be very hungry. Angry with me.
exactly, exactly.
Maybe he fight. Yes.
Maybe,
You
right?
never know.
Maybe. People who are depressed might be, may not know what they're doing, so they could be very
Yeah,
aggressive. Yeah,
yeah,
absolutely.
that's right.
And last but not least, Salvador, what would you do if you saw somebody who wasn't feeling very well?
Yes, what do you mean?
Well, I will start saying something like, "Excuse me, what is going on, or how can I help you?" Something like that.
Yeah, you guys are all coming up with really good ways of. Sorry about the truck, guys. Anyway, so sorry. You guys are all coming up with great ways to assess the situation, right? How do you initially begin the conversation? How do you feel? Is everything okay, right? Can I help you? Those are all great ways to start, right? Do you feel okay? Those are all great ways. So really, when we talk about polite questions, guys, the idea is you guys are advanced students. You guys have it completely down, right? I'm not going to spend too much time on it. When we talk about polite questions, we can use can and we can use could, right? Could sounds a little bit more polite than can, right? We actually use it more significantly than can. Could I help you with something, right? Or somebody's making a noise. Could you please be quiet, right? Could you please be quiet, right? When we use please in a sentence that has could or can, we put the please after the subject. Could you please be quiet? Can you please help me with my problem, right? Whatever the case might be. Could you please, can you please, right? These are the scenarios that we would use, right? And another great way that we make situations, that we make these sentences in English, and you guys did a great job of doing this as well. We start the sentence with excuse me, right? We start the sentence with excuse me, and we maybe end it with please, right? You can put please after the if there's a can or a could you please, can you please, or you can put the please at the end of a sentence, right? Will you be able to help me, please, right? Can I help you with anything? Yes, please help me with this, right? Please and excuse me, we use all the time, right? Sometimes people ask, is it okay to say pardon me instead of excuse me? No problem. You can use both ones, or you can use both examples. Pardon me sounds a little more British, you know, especially here in California. Nobody says pardon me. We're very relaxed people. We say excuse me, or we say, it's much more Americanized English when we say excuse me. Um, and then the most polite way to make a sentence, guys. Wow, I'm really sorry, guys, about this truck. Can you guys still hear me? Is it like super loud with the truck?
No, we can hear you.
It's not? Okay, let me know, guys. Fantastic, because this thing is really loud here. It's the garbage truck. Today's garbage day, so taking all the garbage, right? So the most polite way to make a sentence, guys, is to use would you mind, right? If you start the sentence with would you mind, then you are saying it's really the most polite way. You are asking them if they are offended by what you are asking them, if they feel bad as a result of what you're asking them, right? It's the most polite way. Would you mind if I help you with your condition, right? Would you mind if I try to cheer you up, right? What does this phrase cheer you up mean, guys? Cheer you up. What does that mean?
It means like
Make you comfortable.
Yeah, to make someone feel happy, right? To make somebody feel happy or to make them feel comfortable if they were previously unhappy or not comfortable, right? So would you mind if I cheer you up, right? Would you mind if I make you happy, right? It's a very kind of, respectful way of saying that, you want to help them, right? Would you mind if I help you, right? Any kind of situation, right? And many times when we're speaking to friends, we have a different vocabulary than when we speak to other people, right? You can be more frank, you can be more honest with your friends compared to a stranger when you would use, more of these polite questions, right? So it's an advanced class, guys. We're not going to spend too much time on the grammar, but I wanted to ask you guys if there's any questions about creating these polite questions. Are we okay? Everybody?
Yeah, no, no questions.
No questions. Awesome. We're going to dive into the article, guys. We have a lot of guys in the class. We have no women. Everyone in this class is a guy, right? Fantastic. So, I mean, that's not fantastic, actually. I'm just joking. But we're all men here, right? There's like 7 of us. So I want to just dive into the article and see what we can learn about depression and disability, right? Because this article is a scientific article, there might be some words that, you might not be familiar with. If that's the case, stop me and ask me questions, right? Way better to ask the questions at the beginning of the conversation when when we first see the word, instead of maybe later on when we might forget, right? So let's take a look at this article.
Excuse me, just before getting into that,
Yes,
I would
yes.
like to ask about something. Using the word possibly, like can I possibly, is it right in this context?
Yeah, you can say that, Ali. Actually, can I possibly? What did you have in mind, actually, Ali? What was the question you wanted to ask? Like maybe the full sentence, the full example. What would it look like?
Can I possibly borrow this pen, for example?
Yeah, can I possibly? What was the rest of it, Ali? I didn't hear the last part.
Can I possibly borrow?
Borrow a pen.
Oh, can I possibly borrow something? Like, can I possibly borrow something, right? So maybe you want to use something that belongs to somebody else, right? Yeah, can I possibly borrow something? That works, absolutely, absolutely, absolutely. And another thing we use when we make a polite sentence, we often start with, would it be possible? Would it be possible? Yeah, would it be possible? So, would it be possible if I could help you? Or would it be possible to borrow this notebook from you, right? Or would you mind if I borrow this notebook, right? All these different examples. Possible works very well, actually, Ali, so that's a good question. Yeah. Fantastic, guys. Keep the questions coming, right? I might speak a little quickly because we have a lot of people, but keep the questions coming, right? If you don't understand something, let me know. So here's the article, guys. BBC article, right? Looking at what happens in the world of depression, right? Here, let us screen share real quick so that we have everything open. Let's see. All right. So depression has been noted as the second biggest cause of disability in the world, right, by a recent study. So depression is the second most common cause of disability worldwide after back pain, according to a review of research, right? The disease must be treated as a global public health priority. Experts report in the journal PLOS Medicine, right? The study compared clinical depression with more than 200 other diseases and injuries as a cause of disability. So they compared 200 different conditions, and they found depression is number 2 after back pain, right? Any questions, guys, about these first 3 paragraphs?
Not for the moment.
Not for the moment? Okay. Let me know, guys. Stop me, okay? Don't worry. Just say, Farhan, stop. If you guys have a question. So, globally, only a small proportion of patients have access to treatment, the World Health Organization says. Depression was ranked at number 2 as the global cause of disability, but its impact varied in different countries and regions. For example, rates of major depression were highest in Afghanistan and lowest in Japan, right? So the highest rate is in Afghanistan and the lowest is in Japan. In the UK, depression was ranked at number 3 in terms of years lived with a disability, right? So it's number 3 in the UK. I would also imagine it to be very high in the United States, right? Dr. Alice Ferrari from the University of Queensland's School of Population Health led the study. So obviously this is someone from Australia, right? University of Queensland. And this person wrote, depression is a big problem, and we definitely need to pay more attention to it than we are now, right? Any questions, guys, on these paragraphs here?
Well, I can ask what is the main reason that the people stay in depression? That's the point.
Yeah, I don't really know. Maybe the article is gonna maybe discuss that a little bit, but it seems like maybe there could be a lot of different reasons. Yeah, we have to wait and see. Maybe the rest of the article talks about that. But I'm surprised that they're saying that it's like lowest in Japan, right? I thought Japan had the highest suicide rate of all young people. You know, I heard that before, so I don't know. Maybe depression and suicide are not linked, but it's lowest in Japan, highest in Afghanistan. Any other questions, guys, about this? Those paragraphs? I think we're okay, right?
No.
Already. So this is, I think, going to talk more about what you're asking, Juvenal, right? There's still more work to be done in terms of awareness of the disease, right? And also in coming up with successful ways of treating it, right? It's a difficult disease to treat because it's not something that, you know, maybe has a cause that we can identify. The burden is different between countries. So it tends to be higher in low and middle income countries and lower in high income countries, right? Policymakers had made an effort to bring depression to the forefront, but there was a lot more work to be done, she added, right? There's lots of stigma we know associated with mental health. This is a very important line, guys. There's lots of stigma we know associated with mental health. What does the word stigma mean?
I think it's something like we cannot change it, right? It's something like a big idea.
Yeah, it is an idea, exactly. It's kind of like an idea, but when we say social stigma, right? It's what do we mean by social stigma? Sometimes we see social stigma, that word getting thrown around a lot, right? A
Like
stigma is
indication.
Kind of mark.
yeah, it's an indication. It's like a mark, right? It's something that is kind of embarrassing. It's a stigma. It has, if something has a stigma associated with it, it has something negative associated with it, right? For example, people who, it's not, for what they're trying to say in this line, I think, is that people who seek help for mental health, right? People who are interested in you know, mental health issues, right? They are, when they say that they need help with their depression, people think they're not strong enough sometimes. There's a social stigma to requesting help. We see this a lot in the United States, actually, right? If somebody goes to the doctor or goes to the psychiatrist for a psychological problem, maybe men don't like to do it because they're seen as they're more weak if they get help for something mental, right? If it's physical, no problem, I'll go to the doctor. But if it's mental, it's a stigma. I might not be as manly as other men. You know, I can't deal with something like depression, right? So that's part of the idea that I think we're trying to get at, right? What one person recognizes as disabling might be different to another person and might be different across countries as well, right? There are lots of cultural implications and interpretations that come in place, which makes it all the more important to raise awareness of the size of the problem and also signs and how to detect it, right? Very long paragraph, guys. Any questions about this paragraph or anything we've looked at so far?
No.
Makes sense, right? The differences are between different countries, guys, right? Depression in Russia is a little bit different from depression in Mexico, right? So it's a difficult thing to figure out. Let's see. The data for the year 2010 follows similar studies in 1990 and 2000 looking at the global burden of depression, right? So this is a 2010 study. 20 years ago, 10 years ago, it was the same. We saw the same trend, right? We saw the same problem. Commenting on the study, Dr. Daniel Chisholm, a health economist at the Department for Mental Health and Substance Abuse at the World Health Organization said depression was a very disabling condition, right? So they're actually not giving us that much of a reason why, right? Unfortunately, but everybody is saying it's a very disabling condition. Maybe we can talk about that in our in our discussion. Why do we think it's such a disabling condition, right? It's a big public health challenge and a big problem to be reckoned with, but not enough is being done, right? What does the word reckoned mean, guys? If you have to reckon with something, what does that mean?
Figure out.
Figure out something, yeah. To deal with something, right? If I'm reckoning with something, I have to deal with it, right? So it's a big problem that they're trying to figure out, that they're trying to deal with. Around the world, okay, this is very important, guys. Around the world, only a tiny proportion of people get any sort of treatment or diagnosis. People live for years and years and years with depression. They never see a doctor. They never go for any kind of medical help, right? The World Health Organization, right, recently launched a global mental health action plan to raise awareness among policymakers, right? So people are doing stuff, right? But it doesn't seem like they're doing enough, right? I mean, what's the deal here, right? What do you guys think is going on? Why do you think depression is number 2, guys? Let's start with Salvador this time. Let's go to the left. Salvador, why is depression such a big deal?
Because in the far way to say something that this could be dead, or people can be dead because of depression, or have a lot of problems, personal problems, or work problems, and all that kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm. So it's something that, because it affects you psychologically, right, you might not be able to, you might not know how it's affecting, because you're not hurt, you know, you're not bleeding, there's no physical condition, right? But because it's psychological, it's affecting a lot of other things that you're dealing with in your life, right?
Right.
And maybe, like you said, Salvador, could the effects be long-lasting? Could they last for many years into the future if you have depression?
Yes.
Yeah, I think it's possible, right? You can have a condition and you might just be, it could be for years and years and years and you never know. You're just always feeling depressed, right? What about Muhammad? What do you think? Why is there this, why depression? Why do you think it's number 2 on the list?
I think because this the more difficult disease that they cannot treat with, and second things, it's something inside the guy himself. So you cannot see it, and you cannot figure how it looks like. You know what's the reason that he get depressed or something like this. So it's hard sometimes, and it takes a long time to overcome this problem. Yeah,
It's not
maybe it
something
takes 2 or
visible.
3. Yeah. It's not easy for that guy, to get out of that situation.
Yeah, and I'm going to ask about, because we are all men in this class, I'm going to ask about that stigma factor, especially in our different cultures, right? Is there a stigma if you go to a psychiatrist, if you go to a psychologist, listen, I have a problem, right?
Yes.
So
Yes.
we're going to come back to that, right? We're going to come back to that,
Yeah.
but I like what you're saying, Mohammed, thank you. Christoph, what about you, man? Why do you think that we have this global problem? It's the World Health Organization is now saying depression needs to be figured out. We need to reckon ourselves with this problem. Well, why do you think this?
Could be have some connections with unemployment rate, because they said in Japan they don't have as big problem like in Afghanistan.
Yeah,
So,
what's up with Afghanistan, right? Number 1 on the list.
right? Maybe it's something like this. Problems you have to figure out. So maybe easier, and of course your life is more filled with a job in Japan than Afghanistan.
Yeah.
You are busy, you don't have time to think about depression.
Absolutely, right? But if you're jobless, if you have emotional problems with, maybe you're just always, there you see that there's no opportunities in many countries in the Middle East, right? A lot of young people, they don't feel like they have many opportunities, right? So Afghanistan is among those countries. There's war, there's violence, terrorism, right? All of these things, and it makes you it can make a person very depressed. Absolutely. Um, Juvenal, why do you think that there's so much depression in the world today? Juvenal, you there?
Yes, I'm sorry.
Go ahead. Yeah, that's fine.
Well, I'm sorry. Can you hear me well?
Yeah.
Yeah. Talking about at the beginning,
perfect, man. Go ahead.
well, we are discussing about the stigma. I think the stigma is the most reason. Well, I said it's like a big idea that change our mind. So this is really hard to recognize that we are in depressed. Well, that is the I think that why is the second problem in the world.
Yeah, after back pain, right? We hear about back pain all the time. You know, older people get back pain, bad posture, things like that, right? But not heart disease, not stroke, none of the other diseases, right? But depression, right? Depression is number 2, so it's really remarkable for me as well. And yeah, the stigma might be a big reason behind that, right? We're gonna jump to that after this question. Juan, why do you think it's this number 2 factor? You know, are people working too hard these days? Is it something that, you know, the globalized lifestyle, phones, cell phones, laptops, everything is going crazy? Is it because of these things, or is it something else, maybe? Juan, can you hear us?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Oh, okay. Go ahead.
So, well, as my partner said, there are a lot of problems. Why it becomes the number 2 disease, I don't know, but I quite sure that it's because for example, new technologies brings new challenges too. So, and as the the world is become smaller because the connection, the internet, for example, so that as well can contribute in order that you can hear many news about all around the world. So it could be depress you as well.
Yeah. Would you say, Juan, that we are working harder in the 21st century than we did before? Are people overworked? Are they overstressed? Are these things more common?
Because it's a mental war, not a physical war.
Yeah, a lot of I think our brains face a lot of stress in our daily lives, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe compared to before. Yeah. Eugenie, why do you think this reason is number 2, or this cause is number 2?
I don't know. There could be many factors that cause to this problem. And I think that one of them, that young generation that let's say graduate school right now, they take money in banks for the college. They have so-called private loan for students, and when they finish their education, they have difficulty find job, and there's not much opportunity on the market for them. So I think this is one of the problem, because they put the best for achieving what they want, but they can't do that.
Yeah, they're just their motivation and their, you know, what they want to achieve, it's just not possible, right?
Yeah.
So as a result, they get depressed about their lives, about their futures, and things like that. Sure thing. Ali, why do you think this is happening?
There is no simple answer to this, but
yeah,
maybe I will try to figure out.
Sure.
I think life is not easy as before. Many rules we have to comply with. Lots of commitments. The possibilities of success is not highly, especially with many there is lots of challenge in life. We when you just think of that, you have to cope with all of these things surrounding you. I think that will disable you from, as the title of this class says, the depression equals disabilities. I think the depression disables you from doing things like a disabled person.
Yeah, and go ahead, Ali. Go
Mm.
ahead. I'm sorry.
Yeah, that's all for me.
That's it. No, great guys, great. I know we might be going a little fast, guys, but I want to slow down now, and I want to look at some of these questions. Juan asks a really good question, right? You know, what could be the cure for this? We'll get to that in a little bit, right? But really, one thing I want to mention is there are two types of disability that we see in the world, right? We see physical disability and we see mental disability, right? One we can see with our eyes. We can see somebody has to use a wheelchair, somebody has to use a cane, somebody needs help, right? With their physical well-being, right? But with mental well-being, they're really, I mean, how do I know by looking at you that you're depressed, right? If I see you taking medicine, maybe I'll ask. But people try to hide these things, right? Especially men, right? Which is why, I mean, we're all guys in this class. Especially men, there's this stigma, right? You're not man enough if you go see a doctor about a mental problem. You're too weak to deal with this yourself, right? It's a destructive habit, right? It's a destructive ideology. It's a very bad stigma, I think, in my mind. But I want to ask you guys. I see that in the United States, right? Men don't want to. Oh, I'm not going to go see a shrink, right? They use the word shrink in English as a way to make fun of psychiatrists, psychologists, psychiatrists, therapists, people who give you therapy for mental therapy. We call them shrinks here as an insult, right? I'm not going to go see a shrink, and I'm not going to waste my money on a shrink, right? I'm a man. I'll figure it out. You know, that's the idea that people have in this country, at least, right? How is it like in other places? Ali, what's it like in Australia or in Saudi? Is there a stigma?
I'm not sure, but in Saudi Arabia,
Uh-huh.
which is my country, uh, but I would rather talk about myself,
Yeah, sure, sure,
if you prefer.
sure.
Yeah, the same thing that you have just said applies to me. I would rather cope with my difficulties rather
Yourself.
than to talk, yeah, rather than
Hmm.
to talk to somebody else.
Interesting, interesting, right? I think things are changing in the U.S. maybe slightly, but very, very slowly, right? What about in Russia, Eugene? Is there the same like masculine? I'm a man. I can figure this out.
You know, the same situation, the same stigma in Russia, and for the man, it's not appropriate to visit this doctor. And how to say? Usually, what Russian guys do, they buy alcohol drink and talk with the friends about this topic. But
Let's get drunk, man. Let's get drunk.
but maybe it helps sometimes. I don't know. But if it's
Uh-huh.
not a big problem, but if something is really, really bad, so I think it's good to visit a specialist.
It's good to visit a specialist, yeah, right?
Yeah.
And it's interesting, guys, that you mentioned that because there is no shortage of psychologists and psychiatrists in this country, right? They are one of the most wealthy doctors in the United States. But they must do all their work with women because I don't see any guys go to shrinks, you know? I just don't see it, honestly, guys. It's just very, very difficult. There's a strong stigma. Juan and also Juvenal, you guys can both speak to Mexico if you guys don't mind, maybe sharing your thoughts together, sharing with us what happens in Mexico. Juan, you want to start? Maybe Juvenal, you guys can both have a conversation.
Yeah, can I
Well,
start?
Yeah, go ahead. Anybody. It doesn't
yeah, go
matter.
ahead.
Uh-huh. Yeah, Juvenal, you can go ahead. I think
Okay,
Juan said you
okay,
can go.
thank you.
Yeah, sure,
Okay,
yeah.
well, I think in Mexico we are like we used to think in the same way. Usually, when we have some problems, we go to drink a couple of beers, and we don't talk about our problems, and it's a little hard to recognize that we have problems here in Mexico,
So,
especially in the men's.
is there a difference, Juvenal, between young and old? Is it possible? Do young people they have a stronger stigma than older people? Maybe if you're an older person, it's not there's not that high a stigma, or do you think there's still a stigma if you're an older person?
Yeah, well, I think it's the same stigma. The problem is that the same one, and it doesn't matter the age.
Uh-huh.
Mm.
It doesn't matter the age. Wow, interesting. Juan, I love your sentence. Most of the times you try to shrink away from the shrink, right?
Yeah.
It's exactly right. I mean, well, at least in my case, it is. Would you agree with Juvenal in this example, or is it different?
No, I have to agree. Yeah.
And there's no difference in age either. So, for example, you have children. If you go to the psychiatrist, is there the same level of stigma as maybe Juvenal, who seems, younger person, teenagers? Is there that same stigma?
Nobody wants to go.
And what's the reason, guys? I don't get that, right? Is it because we feel like we're men, we can deal with this? Is that the reason in Mexico, at least?
If your friends, your family knows that you are looking for a shrink, oh my God, they make the fool from
Really, they're gonna make
from
fun of
that.
you.
Yeah,
Wow. So even your friends and family who are supposed to help you, they are
yeah,
making fun of you.
even them, yeah.
Juvenal, is this the case? Or maybe Juan has a crazy family.
No, 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 that's right.
I'm just joking.
Think
I'm just joking, Juan. Yeah. But no, wow, that's amazing that even the family members are gonna try to make jokes and stuff like that, right? That's really different. I didn't hear that before. Uh, Christoph, is it the same in Poland? Would you say this idea, the stigma exists?
Frankly speaking, I have no idea
Uh-huh.
because fortunately I don't have to go to doctors. So I don't know
Uh-huh.
how
You
is
s-
it work in our country. I don't know even we have shrinks.
I'm sure you do. I'm sure you do, right? They make a lot of money. But I mean, it seems like from your picture, at least, Christoph, you're a very happy person, right? You seem like you're a very happy person. A big smiley face, right?
But
So yeah, it's good. It's good. It's good to have that. It's good to have that attitude, right? And sometimes it's better if we don't know about depression because it's not affecting us, right? We're in the minority, which is, we have to be thankful for that as well. Mohammed, let's go back to you. I know you wanted to mention about the stigma. We heard from Ali, who's also from Saudi Arabia. What's the idea in Saudi? Is it a very male-dominated society? Is it the same thing? There's a stigma.
Yeah, they feel shame that if their son go to shrink like this, and the guy himself he refused sometimes to do so. And this is from the society itself, This is how they look like. I tell you the truth, If, if we go to Islam, we don't need these shrinks anymore.
Yeah.
Because if you follow the holy book and you follow what the God says and the Prophet Muhammad, then you don't need that. You don't. I mean, you will not be in this situation at all.
Religion is a big.
Yes,
It's a source of, yeah. It's a source
this is
of peace.
the solution for this kind of because if you keep praying like this, you do all that things, as we have it in Islam, then you feel that you are comfortable inside, you don't feel that you are at that situation, so this is why, they said, okay, don't go to shrink. I mean, what they call it, shrink,
Yeah.
they don't go and like this, you shouldn't go, and you should read your Holy Quran or pray, keep praying like this, So this is why, the society, they're refusing.
Yeah, it's interesting because religion, I know for a fact, I have a friend who's a very strong Catholic actually, and he
Yeah.
went through many problems. He went through 3 or 4 relationships where it went very horrible for him. Right, he started going back to church. He started doing the same kinds of things.
Yeah.
Religion and the faith, that internal peace. Right, some people really believe in that.
Yeah.
If they believe in it, then it really helps them. So that's a possible solution, Juan. Maybe for some people it could be faith, right? But yeah, that's a good point. Faith is a very strong source of motivation. Yeah.
Yeah.
Salvador, would you? I know you're last in this discussion, but you'll be number one in the next one. Do you agree with these other guys? I mean, Honduras maybe the same situation, the stigma. the reasons behind the stigma?
Well, I think that it is the same in here because always when someone is in depression, you say if he is a guy, you say something like you are taking that like a woman, something like that, that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And I think that is because um, Latin American culture is how do you say machista,
Very masculine, or
masculine or something like that.
yeah, yeah. Machista is like masculine, I think, right?
Okay, so
Uh-huh.
that is our culture.
Uh-huh. Kind of like a male dominated, the man is the strong and the woman is the emotional, that kind of a
Yes,
thing, right?
that kind of thing. Yes.
Yeah. So what could be a solution to this? This is going to be something I want to focus on a little bit more, right? We heard from Muhammad that faith is a big thing for many people, right? What's another solution? Should there be, in this article, Salvador, we read that there all of these different organizations, the World Health Organization, all these different groups, right? They're trying so hard to publicize this problem and make it so that policymakers, politicians and doctors and scientists, they all know this problem, right? For example, they want to try to hit communities, teach children, the next generation that it's not wrong to be depressed, or it's not bad to get help if you're depressed, right? Is it the same? What are these solutions that you can think of, Salvador? Maybe that would work.
I think that okay, maybe get more education or more tolerance to that. If if someone is in depression, not make jokes or something like that because you don't know what the people is uh, passing through, and that is hard for them. I think one of the solution could be more tolerance. Maybe churches or religions can talk about it, or newspaper, something like that, a campaign trying to education the people.
Yeah. If you Salvador, if a friend of yours had was depressed or had a mental condition, right? Would you approach them with kindness, or maybe initially because he's your friend, would you joke? Would you try to be more funny about the situation?
No, if a friend of mine, I will approach to him with careless, sorry, with kindness.
With kindness? Uh-huh.
Yes, maybe asking him and listening. That is the main thing that I can do. Listen and trying to cheer up, those all those kind of things.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely, right. Being kind to your friends and your family members, I think, is number one, right? Maybe people in Mexico should start doing that, guys. I was very surprised, Juvenal and Juan, that friends are joking with friends, about that in Mexico. But
I think
uh,
that the other point is we can talk about our problems with our family, even if they get fun or with our friends. Sometimes they don't know really what we feel inside.
yeah, yeah, that support network is so important, guys, and listening to people is so important, also, right? Um, so yeah, thank you, Salvador. That's great. We're gonna go down the line again, guys. Think of some ideas, right? Think of some creative ways, maybe in your society, right? Maybe in your society, excuse me, maybe using social media, right? Music, so arts, all sorts of different ways to kind of educate people, right? Mohammed, are you there? I was going to ask you, Mohammed, if there's any other ideas you had besides religion, besides the faith idea, right? What are some other options that could be available to people? Maybe people are not religious, right? What could they do?
Yeah, for depressing. I think for because what we have at nowadays at the world, from the suffering from the economic low salaries and not to find jobs, but I tell these people, just to take it easy, don't put yourself under pressure because you have nothing to do. It's from, yeah, if you didn't find job, maybe you will find it later on, or if you have big problem or like this, try to solve it, with your friends. But don't put yourself under pressure and you think about that it's the end of the world.
Mhm.
So take everything easy,
Yeah.
Deal with it, okay, deal with it as much as you can. If you cannot do it that perfect, okay, never
Yeah.
mind. Forget about it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's true.
Yes.
Young people we see. I can speak for myself, guys. It's difficult. It's difficult because there is pressure, right? Pressure from
Yeah.
my parents, pressure from my family, from my other family members. Always have to be successful. There's this drive to be successful, right?
Yeah. But
And it's
you could find different way to take out that pressure,
yeah,
Yes, you can go with friends. You can do anything else. Go to the gym like this. To do
yeah,
some relief,
yeah. The gym is great.
Because if you keep thinking about the problem and you put yourself, you find yourself like you are in a cage,
Yeah, complete.
You
Yeah,
cannot
you're
move.
you're all
Yes,
locked up in
yes.
jail. Yeah, yeah.
That's
Absolutely.
right. Yeah.
Absolutely. It's difficult, guys. It's very difficult. But yeah, making bigger problems into smaller things, right?
Yes, yes.
Not looking at,
If
yeah.
okay, if you want to, if you have big problem like this, okay, think about the other people. Think about the other, as example, in Syria,
Hmm.
what's happening. They lost everything. They lost their house. They lost some of them. They lost the whole family, and they lost their job. They have nothing, nothing.
Yeah. Yeah.
All the sudden, So think about their problem. So your problem will be simple for that.
Hmm. Yeah, we see the same thing, like Afghanistan, same thing, people getting blown up and terrorism
Yes.
and, it's
Yeah.
sometimes keeping perspective is very important also, right? My
Yeah.
problem is much, much smaller in comparison to other people's problems. Absolutely.
And I tell you
Absolutely.
what I like in the Egyptian people, like this, they have problem. They have a lot of problems. They are suffering from low salaries. There is no a lot of jobs like this, But they always laugh. They always like to do jokes, So
Yeah.
this is keep them, away from the problem.
Yeah, they have a good sense of humor. Yeah. I
Yeah.
know some Egyptians, some Beshas, ازيك يا باشا, the Egyptian people.
Like this.
Very, yeah, they're very funny people. They're very
They
funny
are
people. I
funny,
agree,
yes. Yes. This
100%.
is
Yeah.
why, they live, they let the life run,
Yeah, yeah, absolutely, Mohammed. I agree completely.
Yes.
Uh, Christoph, what would you say when it comes to a solution? Maybe, I know you're a happy guy, Christoph, but what could you think? Maybe how could you share your happiness? Maybe the way you live is a very good way to live.
Mm, colleagues, you said that you can go to gym, you can go and find some uh, social networks like I don't not only but
Like Facebook, Christoph?
but
Facebook? Oh,
I
okay,
think
not Facebook.
some
Okay.
I think something in your city as like I don't know some clubs
Yeah,
maybe interesting in something find something you can do something. Activities is good, like even learning another language. Yes,
yeah.
even if you
Take your.
are even you are English speaker, you can try to learn Spanish or
Yeah,
something like this. So always you have some opportunity if you have some activity that will uh, how to say
it will take your mind off of your problems, right? It'll give you another focus, right? Because
draw
if you
your way from these problems.
Yeah, yeah, I agree, guys. I agree. And Juan, before he left, Juan said, "Be a part of everything you could be. Could be some part of a temporal cure. Be a part of everything. Try to focus on just more than one thing in life, right? It's not all about the job. It's not all about your struggle. Try to absorb as much as you can. Take your mind off of one thing. Apply your mind to different things, right? I think that's a good solution. Uh, and last, or actually, we also have a bunch of people left. Juvenal, what do you think is a solution, maybe for young people in Mexico?
Well, the main idea I have is the education, as my parents says, and a
Uh-huh.
lot of music. Music helps the people here in Mexico. We love the music.
Music is great, yeah.
So yeah, and also as I say, talk about the problems with our parents or my friends
Yeah.
or friends.
So many times in history we've seen, cultural revolutions happen because of music, right? Uh,
Hmm.
People talk about music, people talk about depression and suicide and all sorts of things in their music, but no one talks about it. No one talks about solving those things, I think, right? We talk about them as things that affect us, romantic relationships, heartbreaks, things like that, right? But yeah, if artists, if musicians, people who have a lot of that influence, right, that cultural influence, if
Yeah,
they
of course.
started, if they focused on this stuff, maybe people would be more brave, especially guys. I think men are very, very, I don't know, we're all, men, which is difficult to reach us sometimes. Uh, and Eugenie, what do you think? In Russia, should we just bring out this, let's bring out the vodka, Eugenie, and let's just drink some vodka. Let's just forget our problems.
I know maybe it's not a good solution for this problem,
Yeah.
but mm, I don't know.
Excuse
There's
me,
many
guys.
ways.
Uh-huh.
There's many ways to solve this problem, but I think the main idea is to pay attention to many items around you.
Hmm.
M- Maybe you
Yeah.
are, I don't know, maybe you'll like something that you should do that, or something that you can put your mind in another way.
Yeah, I think this has actually been one of the common themes you guys, a lot of you guys have said. In English, we can summarize that idea by saying keeping things in perspective, right? Keep things in perspective. Your point of view, your perspective that, oh my God, I'm in a horrible situation, right? Is just one point of view, right? There are so many other people with so many other problems, right? You need to distract your mind from your own problems, focus on finding solutions to smaller problems, right? Breaking things up, keeping things in perspective. I think it works for men. I think it works for men because sometimes we joke that to men everything is black and white, right? Yes or no, up or down, left or right. We don't really care about the gray area between black and white, right? That's for the women. I mean, not to
Yeah,
be not,
it's
not to
classic.
be
Hmm.
not to be silly, not to be silly. I mean, I wanna be a little bit realistic, but men, we understand things in a very positive or negative way, right? Keeping things in perspective allows us to be more natural, more allows us to manage our challenges a little bit better, right? I mean, it works for me. I don't know for other people, but um, definitely, I think that's a good idea.
Yeah, it's
And
possible.
absolutely, guys. And last but not least, Ali, I know you're having the last word on this, so make it good. What do you think will happen if we do some of these things? Yeah.
Actually, lots of things
Uh-huh.
I was about to say was said,
Sure. Yeah.
but actually I have some disagreement with the simply just like get out of this situation
Uh-huh.
and just get started with your life, just go to the gym. Actually, I think it is important to recognize the differences between the sadness and depression. Sadness is just maybe you can cheer up yourself, but when it comes to the depression, people who are depressed, they we can say they don't know if they are depressed or not, and this is the main problem. Uh, uh, I think uh, many things we have to consider.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, there should be a supportive environment, like supportive family, and uh, people uh, people need to recognize that they are depressed. They need to admit that they are depressed, and then I think admitting the problem is the main key for the solution.
Yep.
Then they can start looking for a solution.
I love that.
That's
I
it.
love that, Ali. That's fantastic. When I've seen some of these publicity campaigns, right? Whenever they talk about the first step they say is take ownership of the problem, right? Take ownership of your of your depression, right? The hardest thing, is to say, I have the problem, right? It's difficult to get people to say you have a problem, right? If somebody drinks a lot, right, try to get an alcoholic to say that they're an alcoholic, right? It's difficult. Until they admit, yes, I have a problem, the solution really doesn't start, right? That's the first step. I really like that, Ali, right? Fantastic. I mean, and it's difficult for men. I mean, do we easily blame ourselves, or do we easily take responsibility? Maybe. I don't know. I don't. I can tell you guys that much, right? What do you guys think? Last question. Do you guys agree that taking responsibility for the depression, saying, yes, I have depression, that's the first step?
Yes, acceptation is the first step we have.
Uh-huh. You guys agree then? Okay. Most of us do agree, at least agree,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
Yeah, yeah. I think it's very important, guys. I know this was kind of a crazy class. We had a lot going on. We had a lot of talking, guys. But I really enjoyed it. I wanted to ask, did anybody have any questions? Any of the things we talked about, the article, vocabulary, ideas, solutions, anything else we wanted to say?
No, I don't know.
Make sense?
Yes, no.
You guys,
Yes.
you guys like California? Look at the palm tree right here. Yeah.
Yes, we like.
All right. Fantastic, guys.
How the weather does
Maybe
feel
we
like?
visit you.
Yeah, you guys are always welcome. Whenever I'm always traveling around the world. I think someone asked a question. I think was it you,
Yeah,
Huvinal? Did you ask a question? Or I'm sorry, Ali.
the weather. How does it feel like in
Right now
California?
it's kind of cold. It's kind of cold here. You know, it's maybe let me look at the temperature, guys, before you guys leave. Last thing. Let's see. San Jose is my city.
But
Temperature.
you don't seem to be free.
Uh, I was born in Saudi. يعني I don't need a jacket. uh, right now it's 12 degrees Celsius outside. Just 12.
Oh, it's good.
Yeah, it's good
Yes,
temperature, right? Yeah.
yes.
It's nice. Today is very cloudy, but soon it's gonna get sunny, and it's gonna get very beautiful. So yeah, awesome, guys. Thank you for such a great class. I have classes every day. This class especially in the morning I think is good for you guys. So I look forward to seeing you guys again soon.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Excellent, guys.
Thank
Take
you.
care, guys.
Salam
Thank you.
alaikum.
Walaikum salam. Take care, guys. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Hey, guys. How's it going? Welcome. Hey, Juan and Ali. How's it going, guys?
Hey, how are you?
Good. How's everyone doing this morning, or morning here? Everyone's good?
For me, I feel good.
Everything's good. Fantastic.
You are now in the morning. Where do you live?
I am in California, actually.
All right.
Yeah, so it's 8 o'clock in the morning here. Bright and
In
early.
the morning.
Yeah.
Which
What about you, Ali?
which day is it today in your country?
Tuesday.
Tuesday.
Yeah.
All right.
What about... Yeah, that's really odd.
We are in the late night, moving to the Wednesday in Australia.
Oh, in Australia. Wow. Welcome, welcome. Yeah, Australia is a great country, very far. I mean, not too far from here, but just crossing the Pacific Ocean, I can reach Australia. So
Yeah,
maybe 15 hours flight, 16-hour flight. Fantastic. Well, welcome, Ali.
yeah.
Uh, Juan, bienvenido. How are you?
Hello, hello.
Good to see you again. Yes, I am enjoying the sunshine, Juan. It's beautiful. The weather is gorgeous
Yeah.
here. So it's a little bit colder in the mornings, but after a while it gets really good. Uh, Christoph, how's it going? It's been a long time.
Yeah, I was busy in this time.
Fantastic. How's life in Poland?
Quite good.
Quite good.
Yeah,
There's no complaints.
you cannot complain.
Great, fantastic. And Salvador, how's it going, man?
Hi, hello, how are you?
Good, good. Good to see you again.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Maybe,
Let's see
maybe
the California sunshine.
because the name of the class is interesting, maybe.
Depression equals disability. Maybe, yeah, right? Hopefully it's not something that's a trend, right? We don't want to see too many people depressed. Let me take this class outside, guys. I wanted to my first morning class, it's too light, or it's too dark outside. So I want to show you guys California a little bit. Let's take the first couple minutes. Come on a tour. Come on a walk with me, okay? Yo, Harlan, I'll see you later, man. Peace out. Alright, so let's take this class outside. You guys can see what's going on. Yesterday I forgot to close this door. Yeah, no, I'm not good. Alright, one sec, guys, one sec. Alright, so you guys want to see California? Here it is.
I can see the Golden Gate from there? No.
No, Golden Gate's a little bit far away, but you should be able to see the trees and the early morning sunshine.
Some coconuts in the palms.
Yeah, right. You got some palm trees. You got some. It's a pretty nice place right now. It's still relatively early in the morning, so it's kind of cold.
What time was it now?
8 o'clock in the morning. So welcome, guys. Just wanted to get started. We're going to wait a little bit longer, maybe a couple more minutes. Just wanted to introduce the class and say hello to everyone. I think Ali, this is your first time in my class, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes, this is my first time here.
Awesome, fantastic, welcome. So yeah, we have people from all over the world. My first Australian student, Ali, which is great.
Actually, I'm not an Australian, but I live in Australia.
Where are you from originally, if you don't mind me asking?
Originally, I'm from Saudi Arabia.
Oh, Saudi Arabia, fantastic. We have a lot of Saudi students here on Colingo.
Right, good.
Yeah.
Good to know that.
I was actually born in Najran, so I was born in your country.
Oh,
Yeah.
Najran, yeah. This is
Najran,
sounds familiar to me, Najran.
Yeah, it's southern Saudi Arabia. Nothing there, but it's not a big city, but whatever. It's a nice place. Yeah, fantastic. And Eugenie, how's it going? Welcome.
Hi, teacher. Nice to see you. Hi, guys.
Nice to see you as well. We have a big full class today, guys. I'm thinking I should take this class outside so you guys can see the California sunshine. You guys want to do that?
Yeah.